So of course we got the massive new side order trailer a few days ago with the Nintendo Direct, and with it we got a really good look at the gameplay of this new DLC. Honestly, so much new information was provided to us with this trailer, but there are still so many unanswered questions too. I've taken a look through the trailer and I wanted to compile a list of some of the most interesting details that I noticed. Hopefully going over some things that you might have missed yourself, as there are just so many little hidden details and secrets within this trailer that I really think are worth sharing ahead of the game's launch. Obviously, if you don't want any spoilers at all about Side Order, then it might not be a good idea to watch any further, but we're mostly going to be delving into things that you can see in the actual trailer itself. Now to start us off, at minute 129 within the trailer, we actually get a quick little glimpse at Marina. So it does seem like Marina will appear fully as herself throughout this DLC, at least at some point. It does seem like Marina is actually using bombs here, I believe that's what's going on. It's a very quick shot and it's honestly quite hard to see her, but she's got a very distinctive character design, so I'm pretty sure that is what's going on here. A lot of people have their theories about what role Marina will play in this. Of course, she is actually name dropped by Act or 8 within the trailer. Regardless of the role she has in the DLC though, it does seem like at one point she will appear physically. So hopefully we should be getting that Pearl and Marina reunion, which will be pretty cool honestly. Even if Pearl is currently in robot form as far as we know. And I'll have more about that later as well. Now interestingly, in one of the menus there's actually dialogue which seems to imply that at least at some point we might be able to play through this DLC in inkling form. Now this could just be some dialogue that they left over or something like that. It says here increases movement speed in inkling or octoling form. But I would have generally assumed that they would have changed this specifically for the DLC if we could only play in octoling form. As far as we know so far, we've only seen octolings, but maybe there will be a way at some point throughout the DLC to play as an inkling too, or maybe that's just something they're keeping as a surprise. Or perhaps it could be the other thing like I said, and maybe this text is just simply wrong or generic currently. To be honest, I didn't expect to be able to play as an inkling throughout this DLC. I thought we would just be playing as this one character. I didn't even realize there would be another player skin for this character too, which I will show off later as well. But yeah, it seems like maybe there is a small chance we might be able to play as an inkling. This dialogue does kind of feel deliberate to me, unless Nintendo just made a genuine mistake in this trailer, which would be quite funny. I guess it wouldn't be the first time we've seen them do something like this. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see if Inklings do have some sort of involvement in this, whether we could maybe play as our own character later on or something throughout these levels. Or if we can just play as an Inkling throughout the DLC and they just haven't shown that off yet, maybe they're saving that as a surprise. I don't know, I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. Next, the main power-up ability does actually appear in the trailer. Now, this somewhat controversial ability which we had in Splatoon 2 didn't make it back into Splatoon 3, but it seems like it is having an appearance in this DLC, which does kind of make sense given that Splatoon 2 connection. It's unknown, I guess, at this point whether this will actually return for good in the main game. I think a lot of people would certainly hope not, although some people did really like this one too. But it's definitely interesting that we can spot it here. It's just a nice little sneaky detail. However, like Splashdown was with the main story of the game, this might just be a DLC exclusive, something you can only use in the story of the DLC. I personally think that would make a lot of sense, and like I said, since it does have that Splatoon 2 connection, it does actually make a lot of sense for it to be here so we can get even more stuff from Splatoon 2. That does make me wonder as well if we might see the Splashdown used at some point throughout the side order. There's a lot of potential for Splatoon 2 only things returning in this DLC, which could be very exciting honestly. Now, it's a detail probably a lot of people noticed, but it had to be mentioned within this video. Just look at how much Side Order has actually improved since the first trailer. The changes are absolutely massive. I really was not expecting to see Side Order get this much of a glow up, but it does actually indicate that when we first saw Side Order, it was very early into development, and Nintendo has taken a lot of time since then to really polish it up and make it even better. So for some of the people kind of complaining about Splatoon not getting the love it deserves, I think this clearly shows that the developers are putting so much time, effort, and love into this DLC, which is really great to see. I never doubted them personally, I've always thought side order was going to be absolutely incredible, but this just really puts it in perspective just how much time and effort they're putting in, even in not too long of a space honestly, given that these types of DLCs can take so long to develop. They've really pulled this through in a quick amount of time, which is so cool to see. So we have this very creepy thing at the end of the trailer, which I presume to be the final boss of Side Order, which would be interesting if they showed them off right here. We don't know exactly who this is yet, but an interesting detail is that they actually have Dead Fish's hat icon on them. The icon can also be seen on a piece of clothing that Paul wears as well, so I'm guessing this is just a specific type of clothing brand. There definitely could be some sort of connection here, although a lot of people are speculating that the final boss will once again be Tartar. Perhaps this could be some sort of final form or something like that, which I do think would be very, very interesting, and personally I think that's a great theory. However, it is just a theory for now, so I guess we'll just have to try and connect the dots more and more until we actually get the DLC and then we find out who this final boss is. But yeah, it's definitely looking like there is some sort of connection with Dead Fish and Paul here as well, and maybe even Tartar too, which could be really, really interesting, honestly. Now, as pointed out to me by someone in the comment section, the translation from the Splatoon 3 website for Side Order actually indicates that Pearl is the robot. Now, this is very, very confusing because I think a lot of us just assumed that Pearl was remotely controlling this drone, but no, apparently Pearl is actually inside the robot somehow. I'm not sure whether she's maybe in her inkling form or something like that, I don't know, or maybe she's actually been turned into a robot. There are a lot of theories that we're in a virtual world, so things could just be really different here, I guess. But I definitely want to get to the bottom of how Pearl is now a robot in the Side Order DLC. I'm guessing it will be quite an essential and important part of the storyline, so I'm hoping we can find out more clues about this very soon. Now here we get to see two renders of the new characters from the Side Order website, and you can actually see here that they're holding some special weapons, some jewelries and also a splatana as well. Now, in my opinion, this could indicate that these will be the rewards that we get for completing Side Order. Maybe replica weapons, which would be insanely cool. They could just be weapons that we use throughout the story mode. I'm guessing that could also be a possibility, but I do think that there's still a good chance that we might get these as replicas to use ourselves, which would be absolutely amazing, and I'm definitely hoping so. I really love the look of these jewelries. I'm sure they're going to be so great. Finally, an interesting little connection going back to Dead Fish earlier is the fact that all of the enemies we've seen so far are dead fish. I don't think that is a coincidence, honestly. I think that Dead Fish definitely could maybe even be an antagonist of this mode. They do say they're not an enemy in some of the dialogue, but I don't think we can trust them that quickly yet. There has to be some sort of connection here, especially with seeing Dead Fish's hat icon on that final boss seemingly, and then these enemies being Dead Fish too. You know, something is just a little bit too suspicious here. So yeah, lots of interesting details in this Side Order trailer, but I'm sure there are a ton more. What are some of the interesting things you've noticed though? Leave your thoughts down in the comments section. If you made it to the end, be sure to comment Splat Gang down below so I know you did. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on notifications for more.